Is Greg Olsen back? Okay,
Yeah,
Greg.
we got him back. He's
you there,
on
Greg?
Sorry about that, guys.
That's okay.
Lost you.
No problem. So, are you aware that Khalil has been trolling on my guys here every?
I'm not aware of it, but as I was saying, that does not surprise me. That sounds very Ryan Khalil. It's creative. It's different.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very typical Khalil move. I like it though. I hope we have a few more weeks of those.
I bet you do. So what is it like being on a 9-0 team, Greg? It's so rare to be a professional football player and look and see that's your record. It's a rarity in the NFL for sure.
It is. You know, there's no question about it. You know, obviously it's my first time in my 9 years, you know, going this far into the season before a loss. And, you know, you just enjoy it. You enjoy it for what it is. You try not to make too much of it, knowing that, you know, by no means are we accomplishing much. All we are is putting ourselves in position to have success towards the end of the season and put ourselves in position to have a good situation for the playoffs and however all that works out. So, you know, you want to enjoy it. You want to appreciate it. It's hard. It's not easy to do, but also keep it in perspective that this is obviously not our ultimate goal.
Why do you think it's clicking so well?
You know, I think there's a lot of elements to it. I think we're playing really good defense. I think anytime you have a defense that can you know, get you through tough times offensively, if you're struggling, whatever, those kind of defenses always can keep you in games, always can keep things tight. And then offensively, we've really played well. We've scored a lot of points. We've been pretty efficient. We've been pretty good scoring. We're multiple. We can run the ball at you. We can run the ball down your throat, but we can also throw the ball to a lot of different guys. Cam obviously brings a different dimension with what he can do back there with the ball in his hands. You know, so I think it's hard to kind of pinpoint, okay, here's how you stop the Panthers. I think there's a lot of guys who contribute. It almost changes on a weekly basis who's making an impact, and I think that puts a lot of pressure on defenses.
Yeah, and so there's so many things to talk about in regards to your team from the defense, Kuechly, Norman, that defensive line as well, and your play. Jonathan Stewart, you just mentioned, and Cam's play as well. So, and yet, we and the national media, and I'm included, are talking about is Cam's dancing. Hitting the end zone, Greg. That's for real. I mean, that is exactly what people are talking about today. You know,
it is, and I think a little bit of it is unfortunate. I mean, we get it. You know, we understand why. You know, we're under the microscope right now. You know, when you're 9-0 on the national level, you're going to get a lot of attention. You're going to have a lot of people trying to find storylines, and we get it. And you know, we've come to understand around here that Cam falls under a little different of a microscope than maybe some of the other guys throughout the league. And you know, I think a little bit of it is unfortunate that it takes away from all the good things that we've been doing, all the positives that we have going on. Is, you know, now all of a sudden we're having a debate about not how good of a dancer Cam is. I think we're having a debate on should he be dancing, and I think that's a little bit unfortunate.
Well, so for fans who are somewhat confused or upset by Cam's demeanor after he scores, what should we know about his mindset when he hits the end zone and decides to celebrate in that manner, Greg?
I think the biggest thing is to know, you know, I think, and it's very clear when you watch, just you're talking about a guy who is a quarterback, and we're not used to seeing quarterbacks who are willing to sell themselves, put their bodies on the line, take on linemen, dive over piles, flip, run over linebackers, do whatever it takes to get his team in the end zone. There's not another quarterback in the league that would put their body, that could, first of all, physically, and then secondly, mentally, and be willing to do that. So from that standpoint, I think it just demonstrates, you know, that the guy is all in. He's all in to win. He's a competitor. He wants to. But at the same time, Cam's personality is what it is. He's a fun-loving guy. He enjoys playing the game. He enjoys celebrating. He's going to get up. He's going to do his little dance. He's going to do his thing. But you know, it's hard for us to wrap our heads why it's a big deal that he can't do it. But, you know, I watched the Monday night game last night, and every guy who makes a tackle has a 15-second celebration on a routine tackle on a flat, or, you know, a sack dance, and the guy's rubbing his belly or shaking his hips or whatever it's got to be. I mean, we've had quarterback celebrations turn into commercials. But now all of a sudden when Cam does it, it's an issue. I just don't understand why it's a different story with him.
Greg Olsen joining me here from the 9-0 Carolina Panthers on the Rich Eisen Show. To what do you attribute the fact you've been able to take every snap, Greg?
You know, I don't know. I think I've been pretty fortunate and lucky, you know, health-wise. I try to do the best I can taking care of myself in the off-season and during the season to physically be able to do it. And it's something that mentally I take a lot of, you know, preparation mentally to just take a lot of pride in being out there, taking a lot of pride in just playing play after play, regardless of what the situation is, and learning what it takes to play when you're tired, and learning what it takes to play when you're a little dinged up and feeling uncomfortable. Learning to be comfortable when you're not. I think a lot of that is just preparation, and I enjoy being out there with my guys on every single play and doing what's asked of me. And it's not always going to be great. You're going to have to do things that you might not excel at, but that's the challenge of playing this position in our team, and something that I enjoy and I take a lot of pride in.
Now, I also see that you do yoga, and that is part of your Heartist Yard Foundation that you've got going on. So you've sort of worked your workout into your charity. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, we had a pretty cool event. We had a pretty cool yoga event. We had over 1,000 people show up for just one of our multiple events that we've done over the last couple of years for our foundation here in Charlotte. And one of the recent ones was we had a yoga in the park, and people came out for a donation, and we had over 1,000 mats and people, and it was at a brewery. So afterwards, everybody was able to drink a little bit. So it's just one of the handful of things. But yeah, yoga, and I do Pilates, and so I try to do my training and take it as serious as I can, and I believe that plays a big part of it all.
Yeah, you do the warrior, that's right? You got that?
The warrior.
The tree. You do the tree.
Downward dog, the whole deal.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's not easy.
Warrior 1, warrior 2, the whole thing.
Yeah, I know. One time I did some yoga, and the instructor, because they showed some move, with your head on the ground and your feet up against the wall,
I just said, headstand?
Yeah, I did, and I just said, "There's no chance." I said that out loud. I just said, "There's no chance." And so the instructor said to me, "If you're talking, you're not breathing." That's what I got back in response, Greg.
Oh, okay. I don't. Those more advanced moves aren't really my. I'm with you, Rich. I'm not into all that. I'm more on my feet and.
Okay.
I'm my back guy.
Oh, good for you. So what about, before I let you go, a couple things I want to hit you on. Your alma mater is going to be looking for a coach. Ed Reed came on the show a couple weeks ago, said he would take a call from 305. What do you think about that idea, Greg?
I saw that. I saw Ed, and I obviously have a tremendous amount of respect for Ed, and I'm sure if they did call, I'm sure he would be interested. I think it's interesting to see what direction they go. They obviously have some work to do down there. This has been a tough little stretch for them, but I hope whoever they do hire is the right man. I hope it's somebody that understands Miami, understands the culture down there, understands what the expectations are, because it's a different place. It's not like some of these other big programs. It's a unique environment, and you're expected to win, and not always going to have the same resources that everybody else is going to have, but you have to be willing to handle that. But you can win down there. We just got to find somebody who can get it done.
Well, am I not mistaken? You've got a Miami quarterback on that staff there, correct? Am I not mistaken?
We do. Ken Dorsey's our quarterback coach, and he's done an awesome job here. So yeah, we have a couple connections to down there. So.
I bet you do. I know.
See how that works out.
Ed said he's been talking to Ken about maybe they get a band together.
Get the gang back together a little
Reggie
bit.
Wayne, will coach receivers. You know what I mean? That's what they're saying.
Just have an alumni reunion.
Why not? You've got enough of them. That's for darn sure.
We got our handful. We definitely have our handful.
And last question. How's your son doing? How's your family doing, Greg?
Everybody's doing well, thanks. Our son is doing pretty well. He's obviously the last couple of years he's had a tough little road, but as of right now he's really doing well. He's in school. He's living a relatively normal life. If you saw him, you probably wouldn't know anything he had gone on. But so we're very fortunate. We're very lucky to have had the care that we've had here in Charlotte, and we have a lot of people that have looked out for us, and we're very thankful for that.
And my best to TJ, your family, and thank you for calling in, Greg. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks so much, Rich. I enjoyed it.
You bet. Thank you. Right back at you. At Greg Olsen, 88 here on the Rich Eisen Show. His son, TJ, has been living with a congenital heart defect called hypoplastic left heart syndrome. And there's been many stories done on he and his wife and his child and what they are doing to make his life as comfortable as possible. And as you heard, he's living a normal life for a little boy there in Carolina. And he's wondering what I'm wondering. They made commercials out of celebrations by quarterbacks. What's the big deal if Cam is doing dances and somebody else is doing hand movements, gestures? That's my 2 cents. At Greg Olsen 88 is how you can tweet Greg, and at Rich Eisen is tweet us.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on audience.